The following program has been brought to you in part by Sennheiser and the Airline Pilots Association.
On this episode, we'll tell you which legacy carrier could have just landed a new contract, what the United States Congress is weighing in on now, and what your future cockpit might look like. All of this and more here on the Flight Deck. Hello, I'm Sharon Varab. Welcome to the Flight Deck. The pilots at Delta Airlines have reached a tentative agreement with their management. Details will not be released until the Delta pilots' governing body can deliberate and vote on the agreement. The deal comes more than 7 months ahead of the December 31st, 2012 amendable date. The Senate recently passed a bipartisan agreement on the Export-Import Bank's reauthorization. It's a step towards ending worldwide subsidies of wide-body aircraft. The reforms will also shine some light on the bank's financing processes. The bill now moves on to President Obama, who is expected to sign it. ALPA First Vice President Captain Sean Cassidy testified before the House Committee on Homeland Security. Here he discusses access control point breaches at our nation's airports.
100% screening of individuals entering the secure areas of airports is not the answer to counter the insider threat. Rather, we need to develop and immediately implement a risk-based, systematic method of employee vetting that includes fingerprint-based criminal history background checks of every employee with unescorted access to passenger and cargo aircraft in air operations areas.
ALPA supports a risk-based approach to aviation security where resources are used primarily to identify individuals with hostile intent. The House and Senate Homeland Security Committees rejected a proposed budget cut for the Federal Flight Deck Officer Program. The committees acted instead to sustain funding at $24 million. ALPA applauded the committee's leadership and will continue to push for robust funding. You can join the fight for adequate FFDO funding too. Just visit alpa.org and click on Call to Action to send your representative a message today. Pilots around the world called for the European Aviation Safety Administration to issue new science-based flight and duty time regulations. ALPA joined the European Cockpit Association in their work to expose the serious safety risk posed by pilot fatigue. The unions also urged the administration to recognize and adhere to ICAO's safety recommendations. ALPA recently submitted comments to the FAA on pilot certification and qualification requirements. While ALPA supports the agency's proposed rule, the union also had some requests. These include allowing certain Part 121 pilots to obtain an ATP certificate without a break in their employment. To read the association's full comments, visit our website. Have you spotted Boeing's new 787 while flying the line? Ever want to peek inside? After the break, we'll give you a guided tour.
From the first time I boarded a commercial plane as its pilot, I've embraced the responsibility I have to the safety of my passengers and crew. And I have the best flight gear, even the headset certified for commercial duty. It lets me concentrate on the task at hand, making this the safest flight my passengers will ever have.
The feature-packed HMEC 26 provides long-wearing comfort and more than 18 dB of noise reduction. Try the HMEC 26 on your next flight and hear the difference for yourself.
Boeing brought its newest plane, the 787 Dreamliner, to DC this month, and the Flight Deck arranged a personal tour of the cockpit and crew rest facilities just for you.
Hello, my name is Captain Mike Bryan, Boeing test pilot here on Airplane 3 in DC, visiting and I welcome you aboard our aircraft and give you a tour of the 787 Flight Deck. First thing you might see is the 15-inch displays, which are a definite improvement from our 9-inch displays. They're fantastic from a pilot point of view for workload. Really nice display for the vertical situation display. So we're showing where any kind of terrain issues might be and also how you're programmed on the climb out and also descent for VNAV. I think the VSD is fantastic. Obviously, as you zoom in further here, you can actually zoom down on the large display down to the actual taxi map, where we're here and it moves along, and for turning on the right taxiway or parking at the right gate is fantastic. You can see it brings in a little more of the close-in range. And then as we zoom out, I just put a simple route here from Reagan National over to Dulles, right down the river where the terrain is. And then even as you get further out where terrain becomes a factor, the peaks mode of, what do we have there, about 5,000 foot terrain is the closest one of a threat here on the peaks mode. You will see the circuit breaker panels are no longer here. They're in a solid state controller we call circuit breaker indication and control. The hard physical circuit breakers have been removed, saving weight, cost, wiring, you name it. It's now the CBIC, circuit breaker indication and control. So as you can see here, we have 3 open breakers that we did on purpose to safe the ram air turbine. You're done. You don't have to do that, but you can look and see that you have 3 breakers that are open, no missing them with a flashlight or trying to hunt and find. So a fantastic setup. What you can't see here is the flight control system that you will absolutely love. We made it fly like a 777, but it's actually even better the way that the flight control systems work behind the scenes for any smoothing out of the ride or an upset or potentially even an engine failure that we all train to. It just flies fantastic. Another aspect that I know you're going to love is the head-up display. So 787s come standard with both head-up displays for both pilots. So you're not upgrading to captain and suddenly having to use it. You're going to be used to using it from the very beginning and love it. Low visibility takeoff, auto-tune the localizer for takeoff. You're going to get out on a foggy day, and also just normal flying, normal up and away flying, guidance, coming down on approach, all the localizer guidance, everything on the PFD, the primary flight display, is now on the HUD. You're not going in and out looking. It's going to be out where you're seeing that you're on guidance, looking for the runway, and hopefully having even better landings. So I think you're really going to like the HUD. One of the features that I knew about and finally got to experience, believe it or not, is the cabin pressure. With the composite tube, we can overpressurize, don't have the cycle fatigue issues of an aluminum fuselage. So we'll be at 5,700 feet at 39,000 cruise altitude, so not even 6,000 yet, and we'll never go above 6,000, even at 43,000 feet. So to me, flying long test flights, even 14-hour test flights, I've really noticed the better air and less fatigue of being at 6,000 or even less than that during cruise. So I know you're going to like that as you fly the airplane as well. So I'll get ready to show you the pilot's crew rest right here just after the flight deck. We've got 2 full beds and 1 chair in there with a closet and area for changing. I've got some experience in the 777-300ER, really fantastic airplane and a fantastic crew rest. This is a smaller airplane, so you can't quite get that big of a crew rest, but it's pretty darn nice for this class, for a size of a plane. So if you need a place to go take a break, it sure beats the sitting in a revenue seat, which hurts the airline's bottom line, and also if you got a roped off, blocked off window seat, as some of the older setups are, that's still not very good. So you get some nice privacy, quiet, place to take a nap, take a break, read a book. It's really nice. I think you're going to like it.
While we've focused mainly on the cockpit, there are also perks for air travelers. They'll enter into a grand foyer, complete with plenty of headroom. The airlines can choose from a variety of seating options. And as you can see, even if you're sitting in that middle seat, you'll still have a clear view of the horizon. The windows have been upgraded too. Instead of flimsy shades, travelers can control the amount of light let in with a push of a button. Spacious overhead bins will hold a bag per every single customer. And finally, LED lighting throughout sets the new tone for air travel. 4 ALPA airlines have the 787 on order now. If you're one of the lucky pilots, please let us know how it flies. Send us your 787 maiden voyage story at FlightDeck@alpa.org. With Memorial Day just around the corner, you might be thinking more about a family barbecue or going to the pool. But this story might remind you of why we should all pause and pay respect to those who have served our nation. These war veterans hail from Minnesota and Wisconsin. They're here in D.C. with a program called Honor Flight. It's a nonprofit created to honor our vets by providing an experience they might otherwise never afford, their very own tour of honor.
This is really remarkable what the people are doing, the volunteers. It's kind of mind-boggling.
These vets were transported in part thanks to Sun Country airline pilots Captain Ronald Payne and First Officer Brian Lethert.
I've had the opportunity to fly several of these flights now in the last year, and it's truly an honor to be a part of it and a part of the special day that the Honor Flight organization has put together for these men and women who have served our country so proudly.
I think my favorite part is when they do come up to the flight deck, as some of them do, who were pilots, and discuss the airplanes that they flew in various wars. And that's really neat. It's kind of fun to talk to them pilot to pilot.
If you'd like to help transport veterans to see their memorials in the nation's capital, visit honorflight.org for more information on how to donate. Now it's time to watch and win. First, congratulations Deanna Stack for making it to the next round. You were randomly selected from our correct entries from our last episode. Deanna will be entered into our grand prize drawing. Now on to today's question. What's the name of the Sun Country captain who flew the veterans into DC with the Honor Flight program? Visit our website to submit the answer for your chance to win. That's it for this episode of the Flight Deck. Thank you for watching. If you have any feedback, please let us know at flightdeck@alpa.org. Thanks again, and I'll see you next month here on the Flight Deck.